Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Elgin Nichols.
Sitting in for Terry Stiles, I'm Pauline Bennett. In the news this week, orchestra director helps bid farewell to the Queen of Soul, a two-wheel tour of artistic masterpieces, and fighting modern slavery with knowledge.
Stay tuned. Learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. Downtown Oxford will renovate 2 pedestrian alleyways. The southeast quadrant will receive makeovers thanks to a grant from Flagstar Bank and Main Street, Oakland County. The Downtown Development Authority was awarded $2,500 to spruce up the public space between the Atchison Building at 28 South Washington Street and Lori's Pet Paradise at 24 South Washington Street. The public space behind Creative Embroidery will see work as well. According to DDA Executive Director Glenn Pape, the goal is to foster a more pleasant environment that encourages residents to visit and linger downtown.
If you are a millionaire who has ever dreamed of owning a private airport in a country setting, today is your lucky day. Sky Ranch, a 155-acre piece of property at 4173 Noble Road, is for sale. It's bordered by Noble Road to the north, Delano Road to the west, and Addison Township to the east. It's listed for $4 million with the Birmingham-based realty group of Signature Sotheby's International Realty.
A person riding a bicycle through an art museum will at best be asked to leave and at worst be arrested. The Pollyann Trail Management Council is in conjunction with the Detroit Institute of Arts is offering the public a unique opportunity to appreciate and learn about some of history's greatest masterpieces from a bike seat. On Sunday, September 16th, alongside the Pollyann Trail, reproductions of priceless works of art will be placed for riders to view as part of the DIA's Inside Out program. The event will begin at 10 a.m. There is no charge to participate, but donations will be accepted. Riders are asked to gather at Merge Studio and Gallery located at 33 Pleasant Street in Oxford Village. There is no registration required beforehand.
Natalie, the Oxford Schools orchestra director, said it's all still a blur. She sat a few steps away from the former President Bill Clinton and pop singer Ariana Grande. She attended Aretha Franklin's funeral and on August 31st at Detroit's Greater Grace Temple. Music and Detroit mean a lot to Natalie. She felt privileged to be part of Franklin's final farewell to her fellow Detroiters.
And thanks to the folks at Independence Village of Waterstone, children will have a soft, fuzzy companion to cuddle with. Last week, some Independence Village residents began cutting and wrapping fabric to make no soul fleece. No soul fleece. Interesting. Blankets for Project Lioness. Project Lioness, based in Belton, Missouri, collects new homemade and washable blankets and afghans for children. And the blankets are for newborns to teenagers who are seriously ill, traumatized, or in need. The blankets are distributed to kids via hospitals, shelters, and social service agencies. More than 7.1 million blankets have been delivered since 1995 as a way to provide children with a sense of security, warmth, and comfort.
A portion of the Pollyann Trail in Oxford will be closed for some general maintenance on Friday, October 12th. The asphalt section between West Drainer Road and Pleasant Street will be closed for a period of 8 hours, according to the trail manager Linda Moran. The exact times are not yet known. The Oxford-based Birmingham Seal Coat will be sealing cracks and filling some potholes that day. According to Moran, the work will cost about $2,700.
Break the Chain, a Michigan-made documentary, follows 2 survivors of human trafficking as they tell their stories and show how modern slavery is often hidden in plain sight. The trailer for Break the Chain makes no bones about human trafficking and its enduring presence in American society. The bluntness and refusal to pull any punches is precisely why Orion, Oxford, Michigan Abolitionist Project members are holding a screening for the community. Should be interesting, huh?
Yes. And that's Oxford News for this week. If you would like to learn more about these stories and others, pick up a copy of the Oxford Leaders newspaper, or better yet, catch us on our website, occtv.org, on YouTube, and of course your regular channels, Charter Spectrum Channel 191 or AT&T Channel 99.
And coming up soon, OCTV School News with Alexis Ware. Also, our very own Cody Wright with his sports report. And you won't want to miss Auto Talk and Science in the News with Dave Kenny.
I'm Pauline Bennett. Thanks for watching Oxford News this week, where we bring your news closer to home.
And I'm Elgin Nichols. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors, and thanks for watching.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. In our first story, an antioxidant food supplement widely used to treat conditions including acetaminophen poisoning has shown promise in helping mice with osteoarthritis, the most common joint disorder in the world. The only existing treatments are painkillers and drugs that reduce inflammation, but nothing halts or reverses the condition. When researchers added N-acetylcysteine, or NAC, to the drinking water they gave to mice with osteoarthritis, it reduced the level of joint cartilage damage to that seen in healthy control mice. The main effect of NAC was to stifle damage to cartilage tissue in joints, which is caused by a natural process in cells called oxidative stress. Rick Lories at the Catholic University in Leuven in Belgium and his colleagues screened gene activity in cartilage samples from people and mice with osteoarthritis. They discovered depleted levels of a protein called ANP32A. Further gene profiling experiments in deceased and healthy joint cartilage cells revealed that ANP32A drives production of a natural enzyme which halts oxidative stress. This suggests oxidative stress in cartilage cells is a key cause of osteoarthritis, and that a therapy to neutralize the problem could treat the problem. Lories and his team decided to find out using NAC, an antioxidant which neutralizes oxidative stress. When the researchers bred mice unable to make ANP32A, the animals developed severe osteoarthritis. But treating them with NAC healed their joints, reducing cartilage damage to levels seen in healthy control animals. Lories said that in people with osteoarthritis, NAC may not reach cartilage in sufficient amounts to heal damage. His team plans to focus instead on finding ways to boost ANP32A. Restoration of its natural levels in osteoarthritic cartilage may provide better protection against oxidative stress, he says. Good luck to that. And in space, everyone knows Jupiter's great red spot, but now it has a great blue spot too. It plays a key role in the operation of the planet's uniquely weird magnetic field. The spot was discovered when astronomers analyzed the first direct measurements of the magnetic fields within the planet. The readings were captured by NASA's Juno space probe, which has been orbiting the planet since July of 2016. Unlike Earth's highly uniform field with poles at opposite ends of the planet and identical field patterns in both hemispheres, Jupiter's field is highly irregular and asymmetric. The magnetic field generated inside the planet flows outward into space through a zone of the northern hemisphere. The field re-enters Jupiter to complete its circuit by converging on the Great Blue Spot. Well, the spot is not actually blue. It gets its name from the color scale the team used to analyze the magnetic field. It makes for a nice parallel with the Great Red Spot, says Kimberly Moore of Harvard University in Cambridge, Massachusetts, who led the work. It's a region of Jupiter where the field is very strong and densely concentrated. The field had expected to see many such spots, but Juno's reading suggested it is unique. We're still working to understand its cause and hopefully learn more as the 34-orbit mission continues, says Moore. In our last story, probiotics, living microorganisms used by millions of people to boost their gut microbiome or restore it after taking antibiotics, may not work and could even do harm. The findings come from 2 studies led by Aaron Elanov at the Weizmann Institute for Science in Israel. In the first, his team sampled the microbiome of healthy people. Then, the 15 volunteers took either a placebo or a probiotic supplement. The probiotic organisms colonized the gut of some, but in others they were expelled. Next, the team measured what happens to people who take probiotics after antibiotic use. A group of 21 people took an identical course of antibiotics and were then split into 3 groups. The first let their microbiome recover by itself, while the second took probiotics. The third received a dose of their original microbiome by fecal microbiota transplant. Probiotic bacteria colonized the gut of everyone in the second group after antibiotics had cleared the way. However, this prevented the return of the person's normal microbiome for up to 6 months, longer than those allowed to recover naturally. For people given a dose of their own pre-antibiotic microbiome, a native gut microbiome was restored in days. While the clinical impact of lengthy microbiome disturbance was not measured, earlier studies have found a link between gut micro disruption and ill health. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
Hello everyone and welcome back to School News. Just as I mentioned last week, students of Oxford Middle School are still studying their Positivity Project. This week they continue to learn about curiosity, but it's not just the middle school getting into their school schedule routines. Last Tuesday, October 11th, Daniel Axford, Lakeville, Clear Lake, and Oxford Early Learning Center programs had their first day of school for all 4-year-olds going into preschool. I can't even explain how excited everyone was to begin the new school year, so take a look for yourself. Here's a snippet idea with Pat Mueller, Education Coordinator for OELC.
Share. Are you excited to come back to school tomorrow?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for talking to me, and your shirt is still really cool.
Hey,
high five. All right, go play. Do you do any like academic?
Yep. When we do our small groups, that's our academic type work. We will, once we get into the routine of stuff, we will do different math activities, science. We have in the afternoon, our small group in the afternoon is always a literacy group, so we do reading and writing. Today, what did we draw? What did you draw a picture of today for our small group this afternoon?
We draw a picture of us.
Of you, yep. We draw a picture of us on our first day of school. We do a lot of science experiments and some social studies, so we do a lot of academics, and we do it all throughout the day. We do it at message board, we do it during our transitions, so we do a lot of academics. Even though it's a play-based curriculum, we do a lot of academics.
Great, and that's amazing. For what are these, like 3- and 4-year-olds?
They're 4. They have a couple 3s that will be 4 by November, and then most of them are 4 going on 5.
Yeah, that's amazing for 3, 4, and even 5-year-olds to be doing math and science.
Yep, it's very cool. It's very cool.
You're 4?
Yep, Maya's 4. She just turned 4 a couple weeks ago, right?
When it was my birthday.
Yep.
That's what you want to mention. Awesome. And what is a normal school day? Is it like 8:30 a.m.?
We start at 9:15 and we go from 9:15 to 4:15.
Okay, great. So it's a full day.
It is a very full day. It's a very full day. So it's fun. Yeah?
Yeah. All right, well, thank you for talking to me. And then
I like to play with the blocks.
You like to play with the blocks? Okay, pass it down.
I like to play outside.
Oh, that's fun.
I don't want to actually.
You don't want to? Okay, you can pass it down. What's your favorite thing to do in school?
I like to play with dress up.
Dress up? That's fun too. And then what's your favorite thing to do?
I like to play house.
Whoa, that's all fun things to do, guys. Good job. right, so on the count of 3, we're going to say bye to the camera and all wave, okay? 1, 2, 3.
Bye!
Good job, guys. High fives all the way down. Good job. Wow, that's a big one. Wow, that almost hurt. Good job.
Big one.
That's just part of the 10-minute interview I did with Pat and the rest of the staff at Oxford Early Learning Center. If you would like to see the extended segment with interviews as well as some cute responses from students, tune in Monday through Friday at 8:30 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. for the Schooling Around segment. This week on the Schooling Around segment, you can also look forward to interviews with Brain Balance and the Clear Lake PTO meeting. The Board of Education had a meeting this past week at Oxford High School. They covered quite a bit of curriculum and instruction, finance, operations, and went over scheduled activities. In the curriculum and instruction section, they discussed the 2017 and 2018 MSTEP, PSAT, and SAT scores, presented reapproval of a new high school class on digital imaging technologies, and further discussed the possibility of that new medical foundations curriculum I mentioned on last week's episode. It does seem that high school students are getting a leap ahead with the technology class that was discussed. The students leave the class already certified to work in the field and with an internship opportunity. In the finance and operations section, there's talk of hiring a new teacher for Leonard Elementary School, and 75 new take-home laptops were approved for Oxford Virtual Academy. Remember that if you would like to attend one of these meetings, they are held open to the public. The board only meets twice monthly and always begins at 6:30 p.m. In order to speak at one of these meetings, you do have to fill out a citizens participation form that includes name, address, and phone number. That's all this week. See you next time, and we're going to kick it off to Cody Wright with School Sports.
What's going on, Wildcat fans? Cody Wright back here once again for this week's Sports Report. It has been a pretty good season so far. We are still only in the first half of it, I'd say, but overall we've seen some good action. This week we're going to take a look at the football team. All 3 teams played this week: boys soccer and tennis, volleyball, girls swim and dive, and golf. So let's not waste any more time and let's just dive right in. First off, Oxford's varsity football team took their first loss this week against tough contenders of West Bloomfield. Now holding a record of 2-1, we now are set to take on Southfield A&T here at home. Final score for West Bloomfield was 31-24. The JV and freshman clubs also both took on West Bloomfield. However, they had the luxury of staying here at home. However, West Bloomfield brings with it some great athletes, and both clubs also struggled to get this win. JV falling 26-6 and freshmen 6-0. Anyhow, that's enough about football. I'm sure we will have some good news next week. We do have a great team this year, that is for sure. The boys soccer, though, went on the road and took on Fenton Varsity, falling in a close game 2-1. JV pulling out with a tight win 1-0. The boys played at home on the taking on Bloomfield Hills on the 11th as well. Varsity finding success, taking them down 2-0. However, JV was another story, taking a crushing 8-0 loss. The boys tennis team also played this week here at home, taking on Avondale. However, nothing was really decided for both varsity and JV, as both games ended either tied at 4 for varsity or scoreless for JV. A battle was surely displayed on the court that cannot be shown on paper. Also, the girls varsity volleyball team took first place in the Chippewa Valley tournament on the 8th with an incredible score of 11-1. On the 11th, the freshman team performed in a quad meet at Clarkston Junior High, beating both Clarkston and West Bloomfield 2-0. And the girls swim and dive team are now going, as we saw last week, with a win to start off their season. However, this week we were taking on Stony Creek on the road, and we fell to a final score of 107-79. And last but certainly not least, the girls JV Golf Club took on Lapeer with a home advantage, but the girls also took the fall. Final score of the night was 300-244. I guess we didn't have as much of a successful week as the ones before, but it's still very early in the season and there's a lot of games left to play. We have some strong outfits this season, that's for sure, and we've certainly seen mostly that with the start of the season. If you want to get yourself out to some of these games, you can find schedules, times, all at oxfordathletics.org. Plenty of extra info such as statistics and game breakdowns and more. You can all find that right at oxfordathletics.org. While you're at it, might as well check us out at occtv.org. All of our coverage of these events, along with many other programs we put together for the community, are all posted on our YouTube page, which you can access through the website. Once again, that is occtv.org. Well, folks, I want to thank you all for watching and remind you to tune in next time. But until then, I'm Cody Wright. Go Wildcats.
Hi, I'm Elgin Nichols with Oxford Community Television.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we represent Minutes by Minute, in which case you want to catch local information that's going on with your government officials.
That's right. Whether you live in the village of Oxford, Oxford Township, the village of Leonard, Addison Township, we'll cover it all.
All of the above. And we'll look to see you there.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, the venerable Volkswagen Beetle has become the latest casualty in America's newfound love affair with crossovers and other light trucks. Volkswagen of America said last Thursday it is ending output of the iconic Beetle in 2019, closing another chapter for one of the auto industry's most storied nameplates. The company said production of the modern third-generation Beetle will end at a plant in Puebla, Mexico in July of 2019. Volkswagen Group of America CEO Henrik Wierken in a statement said there are no immediate plans to replace it as the automaker retools to become a full-line, family-focused automaker in the U.S. and ramps up electrification efforts. U.S. sales of the Beetle have dropped 2.2% this year in a market that is increasingly shifting from cars to light trucks. VW Group has been pulling the Beetle from select global markets as part of a broader effort to streamline its bloated product lineup. Demand for the Beetle and the other VW hatchbacks such as the Golf have also come under pressure as American consumers increasingly migrate over to crossovers and SUVs. The Beetle, with roots going back to 1938 in Germany, was revived and updated in 1998 with U.S. sales of the modern Beetle peaking at 83,434 vehicles in 1999. The car was created by Ferdinand Porsche and sparked a raft of imitators over time. Volkswagen said 2 special Beetle models will be offered during the last model year, the Final Edition SE and the Final Edition SEL. Get in line. And on the recall front, General Motors is recalling more than 1.2 million full-size pickups and SUVs globally because of a potential steering problem that could increase the risk of a crash. The automaker says the electric power steering on the affected vehicles can fail momentarily, that is, during a drop in voltage and suddenly return mainly during low-speed maneuvers such as turning. If electric power steering assist is lost and then suddenly returns, the driver may have difficulty steering the vehicle, according to GM. All affected vehicles are from the 2015 model year in the U.S., which represents more than 1 million vehicles in the U.S. The recall campaign includes Chevrolet Silverado and GMC Sierra 1500 pickups, Chevrolet Tahoe, Chevrolet Suburban, Cadillac Escalade and Escalade EV, and GMC Yukon and Yukon XL SUVs. Nearly 96,000 potentially defective vehicles were sold in Canada. If power steering assist is lost, a driver information center message may alert the driver to an electric power steering problem. Also, other electric subsystems may shut down in the same time or just before the event, which could temporarily disable the radio, stable track stability control system, driver information center, chimes, door lock cycling, air conditioning, or cruise control. GM will notify owners of the affected vehicles and dealers will update the electric power steering module software for free. No date has been set for the recall to begin, but dealers have the updated software packages to fix the problem. Customers are encouraged to call their dealers to schedule an appointment. And still on the recall front, Ford Motor Company said September 6 it would recall 2 million F-150 pickup trucks in North America to address fire and smoke concerns in seatbelt pretensioners. The mechanism of the pretensioner, which works in tandem with airbags, involves an explosive charge that locks a seatbelt in place during a crash. Some pretensioners in front seatbelts could generate excessive sparks when deployed, resulting possibly in a fire, the company said. The recall covers 2015 to 2018 Ford F-150 regular cab and Super Crew Cab vehicles in North America for driver and front passenger seatbelt pretensioners. Ford said the recall included 1.6 million U.S. vehicles, 340,000 in Canada, and 37,000 in Mexico. Owners should take action when they receive recall notices from Ford disclosing the timing for free repairs, according to NHTSA. To resolve the issue, dealers will remove some insulation material and remnants of wiring harness tape from the vehicle's B-pillar area and apply heat-resistant tape to the carpet and its insulation. They will also modify the back interior panels of the regular cab vehicles. The B-pillar is the vertical support behind a vehicle's front seat windows. Transport Canada contacted Ford in November of 2017 regarding a B-pillar area fire on a 2015 model year vehicle, prompting a joint vehicle inspection by Ford and Transport Canada. Ford said the components of the older 2015 to 2017 models were built by Japanese supplier Takata, which was acquired by Ningbo Joyson Electric Corporation, while Zia Friedrichshafen AG built the parts starting with the 2018 model year. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and as always, may the wind be at your back as you cruise down life's highways.